We are beautiful. Okay, we are live. Different setup this morning. If you are watching this on Instagram, you can see that I am literally just sitting on the floor in front of this bed here right now. So we're actually on vacation this week, this weekend, and went to the beach as a family over the weekend, and we're here through tomorrow. And I was like, committed to showing up and doing this live stream with you, and don't have my normal setup that I do in the office. So yes, if you're on Instagram, literally like kind of squatting in front of the bed here, because this was the best setup that I could get for the lighting and the angle. So good morning. I'm so glad you're here. Good afternoon, whenever you are joining. Let me just take a moment and welcome everyone joining live. Holly, Michelle, Jessica, Elizabeth, Gail, Camilla. And hey, for those of you who are joining live, can you hear me okay? Is the sound, again, like I've actually got my phone like propped up in front of me on my laptop because I don't have my normal setup. So I just want to make sure the sound is okay. This is probably one of the most ridiculous setups I've ever done for a video, but it's also like just how we get stuff done, right? We get it done. Okay, so I'm hoping you all can hear. I'm assuming from the hearts that we can hear okay. Okay. As always, if you're joining on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, pop me a comment. Let me know that you are here. Awesome. Oh, good. Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you. How is everyone? How is our weekend? Let me know. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. I hope you are kicking off your week with a great start. And we're talking today, so we're diving back into our Think and Grow Rich book study that we've been doing. And we're talking specifically today about how to bring your plans to fruition. Okay. And I'm going to share a slightly different slant than what you might like, what I would have picked up on just from reading this book, even just a couple years ago. And I think it's been very interesting to dive into this book. And I'm curious if any of you, I know some of you had said like you're reading it on your own outside of the live streams, because there's so much gold in it. And some of what's taught, I noticed, was like, I was feeling some of the like, some of the restriction that sometimes we could feel when we're like feeling like we got to go back into massive action to get what we want. And so I want to share a different slant today on one of these 11 points of leadership that Napoleon Hill talks about. So, oh, hey, Christine on YouTube. So good to see you. Sierra on Instagram. So good to see everyone today. So we're talking today about how to bring your plans to fruition. So how do you go from, we talk a lot in the She Sells community about leveraging 95% of what most people don't leverage, which is the power of your mind in the creation of your goals and in the achieving of your goals. And so 95% of your results are going to be based on subconscious programming, subconscious beliefs, and some of that's really serving you. And you can tell what's serving you by the areas of your life that are going really well. And some of it's not, and I'm privileged to work with incredible women and men behind the scenes to hear about some of the limiting beliefs and things that show up for them as they go after bigger sales, bigger revenue, more money, more opportunities. And there can be these little persnickety, subconscious programs. I'm not worthy of that much money. I'm not, it's not safe to be visible. It's not safe to put myself out there that way, yada, yada, right? And so that's why, like, until we heal those, until we repair those so you can build from a strong foundation, all the action in the world will only get you incremental results, if even that. But today we're going to talk about how do you, like, what sort of action can you take, and how can you bring those next level goals and plans into fruition. Okay. And I'm going to share some of my own experience here. I'm going to share some of the pitfalls I've run into even this past week. Like, this stuff was coming up for me. So I'm excited to share with you. And if you're joining live now, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from. This is a different version of the Morning Sales Supercharge, brought to you from a beach house where I don't have a normal video setup. And so we're making it work this morning, but I'm so glad for each of you who are joining live. So Napoleon Hill here in this chapter on organized planning and Think and Grow Rich is talking about the 11 major factors of leadership. And this fifth one today that we're diving into is definiteness of plans. So I want you to listen in, and I'm going to share with you again kind of how how I would approach this so that you can create most powerfully. Let's put it that way. So he says successful leaders must plan their work and work their plan. Leaders who move by guesswork without practical, definite plans are comparable to a ship without a rudder. Sooner or later, they will land on the rocks. Okay, so that's the only part that we're reading for today. Here's what I want to say about all of this, and this is what I love about this community. I find that most of the clients who I'm privileged to serve have come from a very heavy action oriented background. And let me know in the comments if that's you, where it's like when you go to create a next level goal or a next level outcome in your life, it's like, okay, I need to figure out the tactical how, because if I don't know how, I can't do it. And now if I want to work hard, or if I want to make more and get better outcome, I need to work harder. I need to work longer hours. I need to hustle more. Let me know if that's you in the comments. There's some people in the community I've met who are probably on the opposite end of that, who are like, I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to manifest it and focus on my energy and that's it. And I would say that's not the norm in our community. It's probably more the first. But here's the thing. It's a blend. It's a blend, and it's a balance between two different types of energies that I want to talk with you about today. Holly's saying, yes, I was told to pound the pavement. Team, yep, that's so much of what's taught, especially in the sales world. Team, no sleep. Yeah, and isn't it like, oh my gosh, yes, that is celebrated in our culture, right? That is celebrated that, oh, look how little sleep I got by on. Look how, look how many more hours I worked than everybody else. It's funny. So I'm at the beach with my dad's side of the family right now. And he was talking yesterday about a guy he used to work with who would always seem to get way more done than everybody else. And my dad asked him, this was like, I don't know, back in the 80s, 70s. And my dad asked him, like, what's your secret? Getting more done. And he proudly said, well, I work 4 more hours than everybody else. I go to bed at 3 and I get up at 7. And as my dad's looking at him, it's like this guy has the most massive bags under his eyes and was so in such ill health. And I don't know what happened to this guy. I'm sure usually when you're on that path, at some point you reach a breaking point where your body literally will shut down and tell you it can't do it anymore. But that's how I think most of us think, or at least have been conditioned, that we have to operate to get more and get better results. And let me just check comments. And that's not true. So I want to take a moment to say that's not true at all. Laura, I used to work crazy hours, neglected myself and family. No more. Love the no more part. Yeah. Camilla, my mother's professional path, not my father's. Okay. Yeah. And we've seen this demonstrated, right? We've seen this demonstrated from people who just, again, it's like this stuff isn't really taught, right? So it's a balance between two different types of energy. And you can call it a lot of different things. For the purposes of today, we'll call it masculine and feminine energy, okay? But you can call it like the push versus the pull, the giving versus the receiving. Like there's all sorts of different ways that we can label it. So whatever language works for you. But I'm going to use that language today for our live stream. So with a reminder, we all have both types of energy, right? We all have both types of energy. And when you've got this next level vision and goal that you're excited about, and if you don't have that, that's like the first step in really making that quantum leap. We want to get you really attached to and tied to the vision of where you're going and what you're creating. Because if you just keep like focusing on what you've already done and what you've already created, you're just going to keep getting more and more of that. And that's not why you're here, right? You want to create more and better. So when you have that though, and you're like, how does this happen? Right? That's the natural next logical question. And Napoleon Hill here in the book is talking about definiteness of plans. And I think this is where I used to get tripped up, because I used to think I've got to know how it's all going to happen in order for it to come together. I've got to know how it's all going to happen. And why I actually love this conversation today is I found myself over the past couple weeks, like slipping back into that. And we've got, as a team here in the She Sells community, we've got some really like next level goals and visions of what we're creating and putting together, and magnificent, exciting things for you. And there's a program we're rolling out in November that some of you are going to be invited to. That's like, oh, just my heart and my soul. And so we're doing all this, and we're also simultaneously putting a lot more structure into place with how we do things, a lot more. We're working on a project management system. We're doing all the like tactical systems and structure, which is more of the masculine energy, right? Because masculine is designed to support the feminine. So the masculine energy is structure, support, logical, this gets you this outcome, which is great and needed, right? So I've been in that space and in that world so much for the past couple weeks. And I found myself like parts of last week were feeling heavy. They were feeling like, oh, I don't know how we're going to get all this done. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but I was looking at all the things of like, we're going to do this many outreaches and this many emails, and we need to hire this person. And it was feeling like, oh, it was feeling heavy. And what I realized is that I had my own energy gone full tilt into masculine, which again, for either of us, regardless of how you're wired, man, woman, regardless of how you're born, like full one way or another is not going to serve you. And especially if you're a woman, if you're born that way, and that's your biological wiring, that will really not serve you. And so I realized I was so in the how of all of it. And I was looking at all of it, and it was like, if we do all these things, then yeah, I think we can get there. But it was feeling like so much. And I realized I had forgotten half of the equation, which is being totally open to being dazzled, delighted, helped, supported, and aided by the energy and whatever your language is, universe, source, guides, like God, I don't care what your language is, that will meet you more than halfway when you take the first step. And I had cut off all possibilities outside of what myself and the team could do in the hours that we allot for our work. And so it was starting to feel, let me know if this resonates, and let me know if you can relate to this in the comments. It was starting to feel really heavy. And it's funny because as we went into this beach weekend and beach vacation, I've really learned, I think I've done a good job in a lot of ways of unlearning a lot of these patterns. And we also always get to rise to a new level. And so I found myself even going into this past weekend, and like I'd spent a fair amount of time relaxing. I took a half day on Friday, didn't work at all this weekend. And it was like, I could feel some of those old patterns coming back of like, wait, am I not doing enough? And I'm like surrounded by my family who I love, who are like all on their laptops, all working. And I was like, I felt myself kind of slipping back into, I should be doing more. I should be doing more. I should be doing more. Again, let me know if you all can relate to this in the comments. Give me a yes, give me a heart. But when I looked at it, there was really nothing more to do. Like my team already has the things in place. We're meeting this morning to get some other things rolling. And it was like, it was the old conditioning, the old programming of I should be like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong if I'm not constantly working 24/7. Camilla's saying, I was there this morning. Yeah, it's pervasive, right? Thank you for the hearts, Laura. You're saying you can relate. And so what I've been doing and really focusing on a lot more this past week is like just working to unlock higher levels of consciousness in my own mind, and working to notice what are those patterns that are going on that I don't even realize, like that old conditioning that I don't even see because it's so ingrained in me from that next level consciousness and that next level awareness. And that's really what I work to manifest in my own life right now, is just like, what's the highest level consciousness I can have that's higher and higher vibrational, higher and higher awareness, more and more selfless. Like that's what I go for. But when you do that, you uncover all these places where you're not showing up as that, right? And so I really have been looking at that this past week, especially in my own life. Patty, you're saying, yes, I find myself feeling that way. Yeah. Because when we have a program running, a subconscious belief running that the only way you're going to create next level results is to know exactly what you know exactly how to get there and just take more action to get there. you will feel that way. And again, it's not that you can't create that way. You can, but it's going to take longer and it's going to feel harder. And so I've been diving really, really like much deeper into my study of Joe Dispenza's work and like really digging into quantum physics and spiritual law and how does this all work? And he cites a study that like when people know that they're going to be tickled, so if you know ahead of time you're going to be tickled, you actually can't be tickled. Like if you're expecting how something is going to happen and you know it's coming, then you can't be tickled. And he talks about it's actually the same when we're creating using energy. Like when we're focusing on being a match, being a vibrational match for what we want, in addition to taking the aligned action, but first and foremost being a match for what we want and then taking the action that shows up after that. And he talks about if you cut yourself off from all possibilities, that the thing you want, what you're going for, can only happen in this one way, then the universe, God, source, your higher self, again, use your own language, can't come in and tickle you. I know this may sound weird. I hope this is making sense the way I'm explaining it. But if you say it has to happen this way, and this is the only way I'm open to it, and you're so focused on that, you're not open to possibility. You're not open to unexpected ways things can happen. And so it's this fine dance and balance. Thank you for the hearts. I'm glad this is making sense. It's this fine dance and balance between putting the right structure in place and taking the action. But here's what's critical: acting only from that place of alignment, focusing first and foremost. I've learned in my own life, I focus 80% on being a match for what I want first. And that comes from thoughts, thinking thoughts that are in alignment with what I want and matching that emotional state so that I can be a vibrational match for it. And then acting from that place and saying, here's how I think it's going to happen. And here's how, from my own, this lower level of consciousness, here's how I think it could happen. So I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my part in that. But I'm also going to be really open to the universe tickling me and bringing this in another way that I'm not expecting. And over the past week, as I've been focusing on this, it is like every day I have been tickled pink by things that have been happening. And like crazy synchronicities of people having connections to people I had no idea they had connections to, that are not coincidence and not chance. And it's just like this thing that I thought was going to take a year to happen. I now find I have a connection where it's probably going to take like a month, if even that. And it's an example of that, where when you're open to it happening in any way possible, and you decide you're going to do your part and show up, and that's stay in alignment and take only aligned action, and you're going to let God and the universe tickle you and bring in the rest of the resources, and you're open to it coming in unexpected ways, that's when it's like we finally get out of our own way and we're available for miracles. We're available to bend time and space. We're available for the unexpected. Let me just pause and read comments. Patty, that's the trick, being in alignment. That is 100% the trick. And it's a practice every single day. You don't get to take a day off from it. That is the work right there. Laura, love the tickling analogy. Allowing the tickle is the tough part. And, Patty, to that point, it is like, I get that. And like I said, I found myself, it's been a really interesting lesson in this in my own life over the past week, because I found myself in moments of like totally forgetting that was possible. And then in moments of just remembering and we're like relaxing. And then it's like, boom, this thing shows up and happens. So it's a conscious awareness. It's a conscious practice. It's every day saying, like, at the top of my list, at the top of, this is even in our project management software where I've got my, like, all my initiatives that I'm working on. Number one priority, stay in alignment, stay open, have fun, and then take the aligned action from that place. And if I find myself slipping, if I find it feeling heavy, if I find myself like gripping, I have trained myself, and it's a practice. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting close to like literally just step away, like notice and step away, and let yourself get back into alignment and then act from that place. Because when you do, like, that's how you bend time and space. That's how you create the quantum leap. That's how you can go from, 0 to a million in a year. Like, these things are all possible, but we have to get out of our own way with this. So I hope this is making sense. So, and that is really, that's the feminine. Okay. That's the feminine energy, is about the illogical in a good way, the quantum leap in a good way. I was talking to one of my mentors and coaches, Think for the Hearts, a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, the way you're going to get from where I am right now to my next level revenue goal, it's like, she said, it's going to depend on how quickly you can go fluid with and not be so committed. It has to happen this way with this amount in this month. And it has to be sequential, logical process, and like be available for it to come in unexpected ways, be available for it to come in non-linear ways. And so thank you so much for the hearts. I've really just reminded myself that a lot over the past few weeks, like how quickly I'm going to make my next quantum leap is dependent on how quickly I can go fluid and be more open to all the ways it can happen. And again, this all applies whether you're man, woman, non-binary, I don't care. Like, we each will create more powerfully when we learn how to balance both of these energies and both of these ways of creating. So that is that's Elise's take this morning on your Think and Grow Rich definiteness of plans. Have definite plans and be really open to shifting them and changing them and seeing how surprises can come in along the way. Okay. So that is your message for this morning. If anybody has a quick question, pop it in the comments. I'll let everyone know too, next Tuesday, which is, if you're watching this in real time, November 2nd, I'm doing a live workshop. It's the last one of this year, the last open workshop of this year, for you to massively elevate your sales. And so if you're a woman in sales, especially if you're going for like that first 6-figure mark, or you're going for your first multiple 6 figures, send me a DM. We'll send you a link to get registered. It's the last time I'm doing it this year, and it's next Tuesday afternoon, the 2nd. Okay. So, I'm so glad this spoke to everyone this morning. Join me every weekday morning, 8:30 Eastern. This Thursday, I'm going to be taking off, I think, because it's my birthday. So I will not be here this Thursday, but I'm planning on being here every other weekday this week to be with you for your morning sales supercharge, 8:30 Eastern. And some days I'll be kneeling down like this at a weird camera setup to bring you this live stream. And other days we'll be back in our normal environment, but we come together and we meet and we help each other and support each other and uplift each other as a community. So I'm grateful for you. I'm wishing you thank you so much, Laura. I'm wishing you each a beautiful Monday and start to the week. Send me a DM if you want details on next Tuesday's workshop, and I will see you tomorrow morning. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.